Hello and welcome to the late Victorian era. Once again, we just did this pattern. Now we're going to do this one, and instead of thread, both to give my hand a little bit of a break and because when I look at this, I see cozy blanket. So I'm going to use a number 4 worsted weight or Aran weight, but I will say this is sort of a light number 4 worsted weight. It's not a heavy, dense one like a Red Heart Super Saver. It's just a little lighter than that. And I am using a 4mm hook. Now, if I was using a common average Red Heart, something a little thicker and denser as far as the 4 weights or the Aran weights go, I would probably use a 4.5mm or a 4.25 if you have one. Okay, but of course you can use any size thread or cotton or wool and any size corresponding needle. Okay, or hook. All right, so it wants us to start with a chain of 58, which I have already done. Okay, so again, you can find this pattern to go along with the video tutorial in the link down below. I will note in the pattern, and I'm going to note here, these are written in Victorian era UK stitch terms. So you're going to see it ask for double crochets. Those are modern day single crochets in the US. In the UK, they still call them double crochets. All right, so it wants us to skip the first chain, and I will be working through the back bumps. That's just preference. It wants us to work a single crochet into every stitch, so 57 single crochets across. I will be right back. Okay, rows 2 and 3 are going to be worked the same. Now they say to chain 1, turn, and in the back loop only, which we're going to work back loop only of every row because we will be making ridges. So if I may make a suggestion to improve things, as we've come a bit of a way since crochet in the Victorian era, don't chain 1 when you turn, just turn. And your first and last stitch, if I may suggest, don't work back loop only in your first and last stitch. Go ahead and work the full stitch on your first and last stitch. When you go to sew these squares together, you will be extremely glad that you did that. Okay, so it wants us to work back loop only. Also, not chaining 1. You're going to have an edge just as straight as a piece of paper. It'll be so straight. So back loop only, single crochet into every stitch on row 2 and row 3. Row 4 is where we will begin adding the tufts. Okay, let's finish up row 3 together. And in the last stitch, I will work the whole stitch. So going under both loops. And let's work 5 single crochet. So that's 1, now back loop, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's work our first tuft. This will be worked in the back loop only. All stitches in this pattern are worked in the back loop only, with the exception of my strong recommendation that you work your first and last stitch and the full stitch under both loops. So here we go. Under this stitch, let's work 5 double crochet, or in this stitch, not under. 3, 4, and 5. Draw up on your loop. There we go. Pull through, chain 1. Now let's work 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. And let's work another tuft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop on your loop, come into the first double crochet you made, rehook the loop and pull through, chain 1 to lock it in. Now we will work 9 single crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and this is the repeat. Let's work a tuft, 3 single crochet, and a tuft. 2, 3, 4, and 5, draw up a little loop, come into the first double crochet and pull it through, chain 1 to lock it in, 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3. In the 4th stitch over, we work a tuft, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Draw up a loop, go through that first double crochet, pull through, chain 1 to lock it in, and then we work our 9 single crochet again. So that's the repeat: a tuft, 3 singles, tuft, 9 singles. You guys let me know in the comments, do you prefer tuft or popcorn? Let's see which wins. Okay, so I will be back. You're going to end the same way we started, with 5 single crochet. So when you get all the way down to the end and you've worked your last 2 tufts separated by 3 singles, end with 5 single crochet. So I'll be back when we get to the end. Finish this round up together. I've already worked my first of last 5 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then through the last stitch, the full stitch, 5. I'm going to turn without chaining, work that first full stitch. We're going to work 1 single crochet into every stitch across. So back loop only, and we're maintaining our 57 stitch count. So on the back of the popcorns, we have our chain 1s right here. Okay, that's the chain 1 right there on the back of the popcorn. Just work the back loop of that chain 1. Okay. There we go. And you're going to skip this. This is not a stitch right here. That's a false stitch. Your next stitch is right here, and you can count 1, 2, 3, so you know this isn't a stitch. Okay, and then of course, back loop. So I will be back when we get down to the other end of this row, and pretty much every other row is going to be our single crochet row, where you just work single crochets all the way across. There we go. I'll be right back. Okay, now for row 6, let's go ahead and work 3 single crochet. That's 1, 2, 3. Work 1 tuft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Chain 1 to lock it in. Let's work 7 single crochet. Little Merlin here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Work another tuft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we work 5 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Work another tuft. 1, 2. Did I work that one? Yeah. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then we work 7 singles again. So that's the repeat. Basically, when you're over the 2 tufts from before, you work 7 singles, then you work 5, then you work 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, and you're going to end with 3 single crochet just like we started. Okay, so I will meet back up with you when we get down to the other end. That's what we're looking for right there. I'll be right back. Okay, let's finish this row off together, but here is what we have so far. And we're going to finish with 3 single crochet just like we started. 1, 2, and then the full stitch on the end, 3. And of course, now we're going to work our single crochet row. So just 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way to the end. That chain 1 right there. Okay, so I will be right back. Remember to maintain your 57 stitch count. Here we go. Be right back. Okay, so for row 8, let's start with 3 single crochet. Let's work 1 tuft, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now let's work 10 single crochet in a row. 1, 2, 3. I will be right back. Okay, 10 singles, and then we work another tuft. Now we're going to come upon the repeat for this row. 3, 4, 5. Work 13 single crochet. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. So that's 13 single crochet. That should put you right in the middle here between these tufts. And you work your tuft, and then you'll work 13 again, followed by a tuft. Then you'll work 10, followed by a tuft, and then you'll work 3. Okay, so I will be right back. Let's finish this row off. Let's finish this row up together. So we started with 3, then 10, 13, 13. I just worked 10. Going to work my final tuft here, and then 3 in the last 3 stitches. Two, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to work our single crochet row. So 1 single crochet all the way in every stitch all the way to the end. I'll be right back. This is row 9 that we're on now. Be right back. Okay, now row 10 is going to be really, really easy. So we're going to work 5 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5. Work 1 tuft, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to work 45 single crochet. Then you'll work a tuft and 5 single crochet on the end, just like we started. We started with 5 plus a tuft. We're going to end with a tuft plus 5. single crochet. Okay, so 45 single crochet in the middle. If you want to make it easier on yourself, just count 6 stitches in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where that 6th stitch is, let me get a stitch marker here. That 6th stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is where your tuft needs to go. Then your last 5 single crochet. So 1 single crochet in each of the next 45 stitches. Then end it how it began. I'll be right back. I'll probably just go ahead and tell you ahead of time. Obviously, the next row is going to be a single crochet row. Just always assume the next row is always going to be a single crochet row. In fact, what I'll do for the rest of this video, just so that it's a little quicker for you, every time we work our tuft row, I'm going to come back whenever it's time to work the next tuft row, just because every other row is going to be a single crochet row. There's no point in me coming on here every time and mentioning it, and you guys might get a little sick of hearing it. Okay, so I will be back. Since this row is so easy and self-explanatory, I will be back for row 12. Row 11 is the single crochet row. Okay, so now we're ready for row 12. Row 11 was our single crochet row. And we're going to start with 7 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Work 1 tuft. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to work 41 single crochet, a tuft, and then 7 single crochet. So I have it marked right here. That way it's easy. And all you have to do is just count 7 stitches in. And on the 8th stitch, put a stitch marker there. And that's where you know your tuft needs to be. So 41 single crochet, 1 tuft, 7 single crochet. Then the next row is the single crochet row. So I will see you for row 14. Okay, so row 14 is going to be really easy. It's exactly what we worked down here. So we're going to start with 5 single crochet, work a tuft, 45 single crochet, work a tuft, and with 5 single crochet. So there's no sense in me really going over all of that with you or starting it with you because it's really easy. So there you go. 5, 1, 45, 1, 5, and then work your single crochet row. So I will be back for row 16. Not all the rows are going to be this easy. I mean, they're all going to be easy, but when we get into the center diamond area, you know, it'll be a little more involved as far as the tutorial goes. But as far as these rows go, they're so easy. You know, there's not much to show you. So there you go. I'll be back for row 16. Okay, so for row 16, it's only ever so slightly different. We're going to start with 3 single crochet, work 1 tuft, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to work 49 single crochet, and in the 4th stitch from the last, you're going to work your tuft and then work 1 single crochet into each of the last 3. So just count 3 stitches over, and in the 4th stitch, put your stitch marker for your tuft. So pretty easy, but that is going to be row 16. So I will be back for row, let's see here, row 18. Okay, so row 18 is actually going to be an exact copy of row 16. So we're going to do 3 single crochet, 1 tuft, 49 single, 1 tuft, 3 single, and then follow that up with your single crochet row. So I will be back for row 20. So for row 20, we now are going to start working on the diamond. So we're going to start with 5 single crochet, 1 tuft, 22 single crochet, 1 tuft, 22, 1 tuft, and then we're going to end with 5 single. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 tuft. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we just start working our 22 single crochet on the 23rd stitch over from the tuft. You work your next tuft, 22 stitches, then another one, then end with 5. So I will be back for row 22. Next row after this is your single crochet row. So I'll see you for row 22. Okay, so for row 22, we're going to start with 7 single crochet and then a tuft. 18 single crochet, work 1 tuft, 3 singles, 1 tuft, 18 singles, 1 tuft, end with 7 singles. Pretty easy. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then follow that up with 18 singles. Then work your tuft, 3 singles, tuft, 18, tuft, and 7 singles. Okay, very, very easy this time. We're starting to build our diamond out. I'll be right back for row 24. So the next row is your single crochet row. Okay, now for row 24, we're going to start with 5 singles, then work your tuft. So now we're starting to work, you see how on the sides here, we're kind of going up and down. So we just worked 7 single crochet plus a tuft. Now we're going to go back down, which will be 5 single crochet. Then go ahead and get your stitch markers and count 18 stitches and mark the 19th stitch. Then you're going to skip 7 stitches and mark the 8th stitch, and then again 18 stitches, ending with 5 single crochet. Okay, so here we go. We start with 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we work our tuft in the 6th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, then you're going to work your 18, work a tuft, 7 single, work a tuft, 18, work a tuft, and then 5. I will be back for row 26 because row 25 is going to be your single crochet row. Okay, now we're ready for row 26. So for row 26, we're going to start with 3 single crochet, then in the 4th stitch, work a tuft. From the 4th stitch, go ahead and get your stitch marker and count 18 stitches. You're going to work 18 single crochet, then work a tuft. Work 11 single crochet, work a tuft. Then again, 18, work a tuft, and you're going to end with 3 single crochet on the end. Okay, so it's going to be 3, 18, 11, 18, 3. I've already worked 1 single crochet, 2, and 3. Then we work a tuft in the 4th stitch over. Okay, then we're going to work 18 single crochet followed by a tuft in the 19th stitch. Okay, so I will see you for row 28. We're getting pretty close to the halfway point here. And okay, now on to the 28th row. We're going to again start with 3 single crochet, and then over the top of this tuft, work a tuft. Then you're going to work 16 single crochet and then work a tuft, work 3 single crochet and a tuft, 7 single crochet, a tuft, and then repeat 3 plus a tuft, 16, and you're going to end with 3 single crochet on the end. Okay? So we start with 3. I've already worked my first one. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then right over the top of this tuft, we work another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sort of 5. Okay. So I will see you guys for row 30, because after this you just work your single crochet row. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, now for row 30, we're going to start with 5 single crochet. So you see how this goes up and then down, and then we do 2 right next to each other, then back up again. So that's what we're doing. We have the 2 right next to each other. So now we're going to go 5 single crochets up, and then the next one will be 7 single crochets up. That way it just keeps going. So we're going to start with 5 single crochets, then work a tuft. Go ahead and get your stitch markers, and you're going to work 12 single crochets, a tuft, 7 single crochets, a tuft, 3, a tuft, 7 singles, then a tuft, and then again 12, and you're going to end with 5 single crochet. Okay, so I will see you for row 32, as row 31 is going to be your single crochet row. Okay, now it's time for row 32, and we're going to start with 7 single crochet followed by a tuft. Then you will work 8 single crochet and a tuft, 11 singles and 1 tuft, 11 singles again, one tuft, 8, 1 tuft, and then you will finish with 7 singles. Very, very easy. Okay, I will see you when we are ready for row 34. This is just moving right along, isn't it? Okay, now we're ready for row 34, but at row 34, the pattern literally says to work everything in reverse, and it doesn't say more than that. As you can see, here is the end of the pattern, and we still have to get to row 62, and we're at row 34. So there's no more instruction in the pattern other than to work everything you just did in reverse. But what I did for you good people is I wrote it all out for you. So if you do happen to pick up the pattern as well, this will be included in the pattern. So I'm going to hold up for you on screen the written out version of step by step what you need to do. Just bear in mind, every other row is a single crochet row. So I did not write every single row because there was no reason to, since every other row is the same as what we've been doing. So here we go. I'm just going to hold this up for you. That's rows 34 through 40. You can pause the screen Okay, now row 42 to 52. Okay, and then here we have the rest. Row 54 to 61 and 62. And then, of course, my suggestion is to work one round of single crochet all around it, which I will show you when I get to the end of this square here. So I am going to go ahead and finish the rest of this square off camera. I have already made another square, so we will join them. I will show you how to join the squares and why I think it's important to work a round of single crochet. If you haven't already guessed, I will of course go over that with you. So I will see you in just a minute, but it will be tomorrow for me. Okay, so I have completely finished this square. Now we're going to go ahead and work. This is my recommendation. This is not in the pattern. Work one round of single crochet all around. So with your last stitch, chain one. And since we went ahead and worked through the full stitch on the first and last stitch, this is not only going to be super easy, but look how clean and straight this line is. Isn't that gorgeous? Not chaining one and working through the whole stitch. It's beautiful. So now we chain one and turn the work to the side. So here is the top where we just finished. Go ahead and turn it to the side and right into that side stitch right here, not into the hole, not into the space, but right into the side of that stitch, and work a single crochet. And then the next space over, which is right here, the beautiful part about working through the whole stitch, give a little tug and look, you can see where all of your stitches need to be placed. Right there, where it was just open, right there, right there. They're just opened up. There's no guessing. There's no trying to make it work. It will just happen. Very, very good. Okay. So now we work into the next stitch over. Just work one single crochet into each available stitch around. Right there. Everywhere where it's opened up, that's where you work. Isn't that wonderful? So easy, you don't even have to try. It's just perfect. So this will make sewing the squares so much easier. And if you didn't want to work your round of single crochet, working the first and last stitch through the full stitch will still make sewing all of your squares together so much easier, because you can just go boop, boop, then the next space over right there, boop, and then the next space over. And so, but I think this will help us get a bit of a cleaner join, and we can add a little more texture to the join. Of course, I like to do, whenever I sew squares together, I know that there's all different kinds of ways of doing it. I like to work a single crochet on the right side up, and I think I'm going to play with a little bit of color just to add an ever so subtle minimalist hint of color to this, so that it's not all one color. So there you go. You just work, and you can see everywhere there's a little hole. Well, that's where you work your stitch. And that is, again, thanks to working through the full stitch on the first and last. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work this single crochet all around, and when I come back, we will join. I'm going to go ahead and mark my first stitch. That way, there is no confusing it. Oh, and when you get to the corner, here we go. You'll work your last stitch right here, then chain one, turn your work, and right into the top of this. This is your foundation chain here, but since we worked in the back loop, it just looks like regular stitches. So it's going to be really easy for you to identify where your stitch is. So yes, you'll work your last stitch here on this side, then chain one, turn, and work a single crochet right there. Very, very easy. I will be back when I have this square completely bordered up. Okay, so here are both of my panels now, and my camera is up as high as it can possibly get. But we're going to go ahead and join these together. We're going to join these in holy crochet-amony. All right, so with the right side facing up, just join them corner for corner. There we go. Turn it to the side. I'm going to go ahead and join with this gorgeous kind of dusty or antique pink look color. And just come over here. This is my chain 1. So this right here is my chain 1. So I'm going to ignore that for now. Just going to go into my first stitch. And if I pull up, I can see that this is my chain 1. So I'm just going to go into this first stitch. Actually, what am I doing? Let's go back loop and front loop. Okay. Grab my color. There we go. Chain 1 and into that same area I just was in. Go ahead, work a single crochet, and I am going to continue to work on this panel. See, we have the 2 loops. Work the back loop, and then on this panel where we have the 2 loops, I'm going to grab the front loop. This will allow the outer stitches to sort of butterfly out, and in the middle will be this subtle little pop of color seam. And I think it's perfect if you're a minimalist, and even if you're not, and you just want something that is soft and subtle, perfect for a baby blanket or for your couch if you don't want to add anything too busy, too much going on. Maybe you already have a lot going on in your living room. I know I do. So you just want a couch blanket that's subtle, almost all one soft color with this tiny little pop of color joining the 2. Or for your bedroom. Now you can make a bunch of these. Now I can make 1 square a day. But then again, you know, this is my job. So I don't have to clock in a 9 to 5 anywhere. My kids are grown. So I don't have them at my feet begging for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. They're kind of on, you know, auto mode. So I have that luxury of being able to just, because I don't drive, so I also don't really leave the house a lot during the week. I usually leave the house on my husband's days off, which is the weekend. So I do have that luxury to just sit here and watch something on TV and crochet, get up, walk around the house, do some things around the house, sit right back down, pick it up and crochet. So it was easy for me to work this out in a day. So I would say maybe you can make 1 every 2 days. But over a month, picking it up after work or whenever, you'll have a whole blanket for your bed. Let's do the measurements on this real quick. I didn't even think to do that. Look how pretty that looks with that slight little pop of color. Isn't that gorgeous? And then that texture from that seam. Let's measure this real quick. Okay, so it measures, you know what, let me measure it with the wrong side facing because the tufts was throwing off the tape. I want to get this right. We are at 14.5 inches and 15 inches long, 14.5 inches wide. Okay, that's your measurements. But I just love this little subtle pop of color. Can you imagine every square all around with this subtle pink or subtle like lime green or subtle yellow, soft sherbet orange, just something to add, or even a soft brown if you want to make this for a fall blanket. Just a subtle idea of color. Oh, I love the idea. I do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and seam this all the way to the end. You just want to make sure that you keep matching stitch for stitch. Front loop on this panel, back loop. I got that completely backwards. Back loop on this panel, front loop on this panel. And I'm not working my single crochets real tight. You don't want them real tight. You don't want this area to buckle. You don't want any of it to buckle. So I just have a soft, moderate tension. You can see it's not even squeezing my finger. Just a soft, moderate tension. Okay, I will be right back for the final reveal shots. Okay, so with just the two squares sewn together, we're already at 29 inches. So this is going to be, if you want to make it for a bed, I mean, 4 squares across, 5 squares across, and it's a full-size bed. So isn't that nice? To hold my phone practically over my head to get it all in frame, but I'll get a little closer for you. I love the pop of color. It's looking darker, at least from the way I can see it. It looks darker on camera. In real life, it's such a powdery, soft, vintage looking pink. But anyways, I really, really like this. Again, late Victorian era. I don't have any way of narrowing down the exact, if it's the 1880s or the 1890s, but it's from one of those 2 decades, as those are the only 2 decades featured in my book. So I don't think it wholly matters. It's the late Victorian era, and it's just a gorgeous time for crochet. It really is. Okay, there you go. Again, you can find the pattern in the link down below, and it will include the handwritten portion as well. You guys let me know what you think. I know I'm throwing a lot of blankets at you lately. You know, brace, there's more coming. You don't have to make them all at once. These videos are going to be up forever and ever. Okay. Well, thanks for watching and sharing your interests down in the comments, and let me know, do we prefer Tuft or popcorn? I like Tuft. I like popcorn too, but I like Tuft maybe because it's different. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.